record. There we go, perfect. So welcome to the session today, where we are in our third week of Thriving at Work. It's so good to have you here. And the reason I'm doing this early is because I've just found out that my oldest, bestest friend is in town, and I had a chance to go meet up with her, which coincided with the lunch and learn. So I wanted to bring it forward a little bit because I have been doing lots of prep for these, and I know that people have been hopefully enjoying them as well. So yeah, here I am doing it a little bit early. So for those of you that don't know me and you're thinking, who is this woman talking? I'm Lindsay from Gold Digger Coaching. I'm a life coach, working with corporate millennials, helping to prevent burnout, looking at people and helping people in corporate leadership, and also founder of Gold Digger Coaching. So today, as part of the Thrive at Work series, we are diving into the confidence code, which is all about mastering your professional power. So let's think about professional confidence overall, and just see if any of these things resonate with you. So 70% of people experience imposter syndrome at work. 85% of professionals say lack of confidence has stopped them from speaking up in meetings. So I'd love to see a hands up from people. Like, if that resonates with you, let me know. I know it definitely did when I was working in the corporate space, and also does still affect me now, as I am running my own business too. It's important for us to think about confidence like your favorite playlist. When the right tracks are playing and everything's like working perfectly, everything just flows better. I'm not sure who is on your playlist at the moment. Mine's definitely Beyonce. Yes, I did get tickets to see her, which was amazing. But just like a playlist, confidence is can be curated and adjusted to suit different situations. And one thing to remember as well is, like, confidence needs to be practiced. There is a misconception that confidence is like you're inbuilt with confidence, but confidence is just about kind of doing the reps and doing and keep working, keep moving towards things. But I've found that there are a lot of common confidence challenges out there. So there's a fear of being found out as not good enough, a hesitation to share ideas in meetings, difficulty accepting praise, and overthinking decisions. But remember, confidence isn't about being the loudest in the room. It's about being comfortable in your own expertise. And also remembering that confidence, that you found that to not be good enough. Like, you're in the role that you're in because of your own merit. Like, you went through an interview process, you performed really well, you got the job. Like, you're there for a reason. So you're not going to get found out that you're not good enough because the people that employ you put you there. So it really is about remembering that as well. There's a couple of practical things I want to go through, and if you've been to these sessions before, you will know that it is all about taking practical steps. There is no point in you sitting here on your lunch break, or if it's like mid-morning coffee break, and thinking, yeah, this is great to watch, and I'm not going to implement anything. It's about taking action. So there's two things I'm going to walk you through. The first is the power framework. And I like this framework because it's all about thinking about how to build lasting confidence. So to start with, we're going to go through 5 letters for power. To start with, P is for prepare. Now, really thinking about that, knowledge is confidence. So when you're thinking about how you can be more confident and think about confidence in your role, it's really trying to research thoroughly, to really know your stuff, and to practice key conversations. I remember when I first started working in corporate back in far too long ago to remember. I was so nervous and I had no confidence that I would have to write my name down and also my job role and where I worked. Because when I was ringing people or I was answering the phone, I would forget my name and I would forget where I worked and what my job was. So it really is about being prepared and not feeling like embarrassed about having to do that. Like, if this works for you, then do it. Like, just because other people aren't doing it doesn't mean that it's something that you shouldn't do and you should be able to deal with. That's not the case at all. So really thinking about how you can do more research, and making sure that you know your stuff when you're going into meetings, so you are feeling prepared. A lot of time we cannot feel confident because we don't feel like we've had the time to prepare for meetings, which we'll come back to when we're thinking about boundaries, like how we can set boundaries so we do have more space and time. But really making sure that you are researching thoroughly so you can go into that meeting feeling more confident, knowing that you know your stuff. So that is P. O is the next letter. I feel like I'm on Sesame Street. O is the next letter, which is observing and learning from others. So have a look around the room and when you're in meetings and observe the confident colleagues. What are they doing? Think about any effective communication styles. How are they communicating with other people? And also look at studying successful presentations. Where have you seen presentations in meetings where you're kind of people are really listening and they're not like fiddling on their phones or writing like people are actually taking it in? What is it about those presentations that are different? And how can you learn from those presentations? The third one is W, which is for your win list, which is about documenting your successes. Now, I absolutely love this because it's something that I did all the way through my corporate career, which spanned about 12 years. And I loved this because it meant that if I was ever having a really crappy day, I could go back and have a look through the wins folder to remember that I am actually good at my job. Because we do get those moments of like, oh my God, what am I doing? Is this right? Something might have gone wrong. It might have knocked your confidence. It's about being able to go somewhere to see that actually you've got this list of emails, this list of um, feedback, positive reinforcement, good job emails, like you smashed it, all of these things in one place so you can go back and have a look. Now, I always just used to keep it in my inbox, so just to be able to drop any emails that came through. And it really, really helped to give you a confidence boost. If you were feeling a little bit like not really there, and if something had knocked your confidence, then it was great to be able to go back and look at that. So it's saving that positive feedback, having that somewhere, and really tracking the small victories. Like it doesn't need to be like the massive things. It can be teeny tiny things, but just popping it all in there, you'll slowly see them build up, which is a really, really great confidence boost. I also used to love that for when it came to end of year appraisals and mid year appraisals, because then I had a nice long list of evidence from people that I worked with to say that I'd done a good job, and it wasn't just me saying, "Hey, I've done a good job." So yeah, it really helps from that perspective as well. So that is a third one, is keeping a wins list. The fourth letter is engage, and it is about taking action. Now, I'm all about taking action, which is why I want to make sure that at the end of this session, you will be taking some actions, but thinking about what you can do practically in your day-to-day work life, and what is happening when you're in meetings and things like that. So taking action could look like speaking up in one meeting per day. It doesn't have to be that you're going to give this big, long this speech or anything, but just pushing yourself a little bit out of your comfort zone and thinking like, I've gone through the POW. I've thought about what I can do in terms of like preparing for this meeting. Like, what can I make sure that I've kind of got something to say in that respect? Don't be afraid to take notes as well. Like, if somebody says something, you think, yeah, that's really great. It's made me think of something else. Take notes so you can write it down. So then you will remember what you need to say. But try and speak up in one meeting per day. The second one is volunteering for stretch projects. Now, I know this can be difficult if you've already got a lot on, and you're already like, Lindsay, I cannot take on any more work at all. But maybe it doesn't have to be something for right now, but thinking about where there might be stretch projects in the future where you can get involved, and really just increase your action taking from that perspective. And also, finally, sharing your expertise. Like, you are an expert in your field. You have been employed by the company that you work for because you're an expert. You know what you're talking about. So don't be scared to share your expertise with other people. And that isn't about kind of sitting down and be like, oh my God, I'm amazing. Let me tell you this. But just having conversations with people, talking about different things, maybe sharing your insights on LinkedIn, maybe sharing insights or thoughts on a couple of posts on LinkedIn that you see. Like, so many people will just scroll through and just not really have a proactive engagement with content on LinkedIn, but you've got a voice too, so make sure you are using it. And then finally, of the POWER, is reflect. So the R stands for reflect. So it's thinking about learning and adjusting. So it's reviewing what has worked from those other letters, from those other actions, analysing any challenges that you might have had, and then also planning improvement. So it's just constantly being able to like take some time to step away. Did this work? Didn't it work? What should I have done differently? What can I do differently next time? And just planning those improvements and making those small little tweaks will definitely help improving your confidence, making sure that you feel comfortable when you're going into meetings, you knowing what you need to do to make sure that you're feeling confident in meetings, remembering that different things work for different people. So yeah, that is the power framework. So I'll just run through those again. So P is for prepare, so knowledge is confidence. O is for observe. W is for the win list. E is for engage, so taking the action. And R is for reflect, so learn and adjust. It's really about thinking how those different elements can support each other as well. And you'll find that, like, for example, if you start to curate the win list, your confidence will start to increase because you're looking for the good. You're not kind of like searching out the things that went wrong. Like we can't just discard the things that have gone wrong or things that haven't gone how we expected. We need to learn from it and move forward. But how can we use the information where we've been told that we've done a good job to actually help us become more confident in the workplace in general? Okay, so that is the first technique we have talked through is the power framework. The next thing that I want to talk us through is a confidence anchor. Now, I want to share this powerful technique that is used in NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming. I am training to be a neuro linguistic programming practitioner at the moment. And NLP was developed in the 1970s by two guys called Richard Brandler and John Grinder. John Grinder. And they studied patterns of successful people to understand how our neural pathways worked, how we use language, and how behavioral patterns would interact together. So the science behind it. Neuroscience research shows that our brains create neural pathways linking physical sensations with emotional states. And there was actually a study in 2019 that found that anchoring techniques improve performance in high pressure situations by up to 32%. The whole idea behind anchoring is it's like creating a shortcut on your computer. You're making a quick way to access that confident state. There are different types of anchors that you can use. I'm going to run you through a few now, just so you are aware of different ones. And also feel free to kind of have a look at this online as well. Like I think NLP as a practice and as a practice is super interesting. And as I've been doing my training, it's like you're like, this isn't going to work. And then it works. You're like, oh my God, it's magic. So yeah, definitely something that I would bring into using, especially if you're looking to improve your confidence in the workplace. This is definitely something that you can use. So different types of anchors that are out there. So it might be a physical touch anchor. So it might be a ring twist. So if you wear a ring all the time, it'll be a ring twist. It might be a thumb to finger press. It might be a wrist tap. Now, they're perfect for meetings and presentations because apart from me doing it very obviously now, it's something that you can quite easily do in meetings without it being too overtly out there and not too obvious that you're doing something like throwing your necklace around or something like that. There are also posture anchors. So a shoulder roll back, a spine straightening, that power pose. And that's great for you to be able to use before you're entering rooms. Now, it might be a little bit strange if you're doing it with other people outside of the room, if they're outside the room with you, but even just kind of changing your posture like this can have a massive effect on your mental state. Like we're so used to like being shoulders rolled down, kind of head down, looking at the laptop going like this. But actually just making that quick improvement can change our mindset pretty much instantaneously. Thinking about gesture anchors, that's another thing that we can use. So it might be a pen clip. I haven't got a pen around me, which is frustrating. Adjusting glasses or maybe hand steepling, which is perfect for public speaking. Now you'll see that I use my hands quite a lot and sometimes do this as well. Definitely using those gesture anchors for sure. And then finally, thinking about object anchors and visual auditory anchors. So object anchors might be a special pen, meaningful jewelry, a power outfit. So thinking about things that will make us feel confident. We often you hear the phrase like dress to impress, but also dress to impress and dress for your confidence as well. If you've got an outfit that you feel really confident in, you are going to exude confidence. So if you've got an outfit, you've got a big meeting, and you want to use unable to oh no, that's frustrating. I'm just going to carry on. You might want to use a power outfit, having that meaningful jewelry or that special pen. Like if you've got that space where you want to wear something that is like a power suit, or you've got your favorite pair of shoes. Guys, you might have like guys or girls, might have a favorite tie that you wear, a particular coat, like something that just as soon as you put it on, you're feeling confident. That is all going to help to bring that kind of wholeness about that confidence into your demeanor, into your posture, into how you conduct yourself. And then finally, around visual and auditory anchors. So this might be around a specific phrase, maybe doing a particular deep breath, or as well doing maybe a post-it note or having something that you can see. And that's perfect for daily motivation. So what we're going to do now is think about actually creating that confidence anchor. And I want to do this with you right now. I'm not sure if we've stopped recording, which is very frustrating. We're still recording, but I'm not sure if I'm now live anymore, which is very frustrating. But we're just going to go with it. So what I want you to do is choose your anchor, which is something that you can touch discreetly. So it might be a ring, it might be a watch that you want to touch, it might be a piece of jewelry, it might be a finger and thumb that might be easier to use as well. Also remember, like if you have done NLP anchoring before, not to use the same anchor that you've used in the past. So making sure you are using a different anchor. Otherwise, it will just mess everything up for that other anchor. So what I want you to do is close your eyes, and I want you to recall a time that you felt incredibly confident. And this might take you a bit of time to get into that headspace of thinking about when a time when you were incredibly confident. And I want you to make that feeling really, really vivid. I want you to look around the room or the place that you're in. I want you to see the people. I want you to hear the things that you're hearing. I want you to feel what you're feeling. And I want that warmth of that confidence to just wrap around you and know that you are feeling incredibly confident in that situation. And at the peak of remembering that feeling, I want you to touch your chosen anchor. So at the very peak of that feeling, I want you to touch your chosen anchor and then let go. And then you can open your eyes, and we're here again, back in the room. This actually worked really well for me. I did something like this when I think when I just started out in my career, and I didn't realize it was NLP at the time. Like it wasn't something that I was aware of, but I used this in a way. I wasn't very confident walking past people. I would often get really kind of in my head about what people were thinking and what they were saying. So I had a little pebble in my pocket. And I remember very vividly walking from my house to the train station as I was going to work. And I was walking past this big group of like young lads, like they were in their 20s. And I remember doing that, and I felt so nervous and I didn't want to walk past them. I was like, no, I can do this. And I would use an anchor, and I would use the pebble, and I would pretend that I was like I would be thinking about the person who I knew was really confident, because I didn't have that confidence in me at the time. So I'd be like, okay, what would Paul do? And he was my sales director at the time in the company that I worked for. I'd be like, okay, what would Paul do? And that kind of made me, that rubbing of the pebble then made me kind of like pull my shoulders back. I was in a power stance, and I was like, right, if I was Paul and Paul was me, he would just be like walking straight past them and just be able to deal with it fine. And that really, really helped me. Did not realize it was NLP at the time at all. I think I was taught it by my counselor or therapist at the time. But it really, really, really helped me get over those situations and to be more confident. So just a really great example there of how I've used it in the past without even realizing it was actually NLP. Okay, we're going to go back now, and I want you to go back. You're thinking about that anchor again, so you've got the anchor. I want you to close your eyes again, and I want you to recall that time again that you felt incredibly confident. If the thing before didn't make you feel incredibly confident, I want you to think of another memory. Recall that time, and it's where you're feeling at your peak confidence. It might not be anything to do with work. It might be something that you've done outside of work that you've either maybe have you done some volunteering, have you done a presentation, was it something that you did at home, like something. And I want you to make sure that that is incredibly vivid in your mind, so you have closed your eyes, you're thinking about that, you're feeling what you're feeling that confidence, you are opening up, you are kind of seeing what you're seeing, you're hearing what you're hearing, you're thinking what you're thinking, and at the peak of remembering that feeling, touch your cheers and anchor. And then you can really, really slowly open your eyes. Now, you might be thinking, Lindsay, this is really weird to do on LinkedIn, as a LinkedIn Live. I hope I'm still live, who knows? Um, but it is a technique that is really simple to use once you get the hang of it. And it's something that I wanted to use when I was pulling this set of presentations together and this workshop, that actually using those practical things that can help you feel confident can make a massive difference. So, and it might be that you use this anchor for a little bit and then you actually find that you don't need to use it. So you might just kind of get used to it and you kind of like getting in the groove with everything, you're feeling more confident, you know, and then in a few months you might go, ah, I'm not even using it anymore because I don't need it. But this is a really great way to just start to get that confidence, and to start to feel that. What I love about this is that you're choosing the anchor, you've got that anchor, and you're recalling a time that you felt incredibly confident, because there will be a time at some point in your life where you have felt incredibly confident. We often think that, like, we spend a lot of time, like, our brain tells us that we've not done things and you forget the good things sometimes, but it's actually kind of going back, and you've experienced confidence before, you might just have forgotten about it. You've experienced confidence before, but it might not be in the setting that you're in now. It doesn't mean that you can't experience it. It shows that you have experienced it. And by going back and tapping into that neural pathway, we are then bringing that to the forefront of our mind, using that anchor to then be able to exude that confidence in the situation that we are in currently. So, for the final time, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, recall a time that you felt incredibly confident, make it really, really, really vivid. Feel what you're feeling, let the emotions come over you. Think what you're thinking, feel what you're feeling, see what you're seeing, hear what you're hearing. And then at the peak of remembering that feeling, I want you to touch your chosen anchor. And when you're thinking about that peak, it's like when the feeling is like bubbling up inside you and it's just about to erupt, and you click on your anchor, you touch your chosen anchor. So we've repeated that exercise. You can open your eyes now, by the way. We've repeated that exercise 3 times. What I would recommend is if you want to do it more, you can absolutely do it more. Like, we could stay here all day and do this, but the optimum is 3. You can go up to 5 if you would like. A couple of things that I just want to address that might be challenges when you are kind of starting to set and starting to use anchors. It might be that you can't feel it working. And I think what I would do is use the anchor in low pressure situations first, practicing quiet spaces, and make the memories more vivid. So it really is key about taking the time to find that the right memory for you to use. Um, this is really weird. I've just had like a complete left field moment, and I'm going to out myself as a Harry Potter fan now. Yes, I'm 40. Um, but it's like when Harry Potter tries to conjure the Patronus charm, right? And his memory was the first time he rode a broom, and professor the professor was like, well, that's not good enough, like that's not going to help you at all. So it is about finding the right memory, the right situation, the right um experience where you felt the most confident, rather than just thinking, oh yeah, I said something in a presentation once. Like, it has to be super, super vivid and memorable for you to be able to have this connection with the anchor. Um, yes, I just made a Harry Potter reference. Of course I did. So that is for like, I can't feel it working. If you forget to use it, that's absolutely fine. But maybe it's about creating a pre-meeting routine. So a few things that you do before you go into a meeting to make sure that you're feeling your most confident and to make sure you're putting yourself in the best situation to feel most confident. If the feeling is fading quickly, then it is about trying to like layer, excuse me, layer multiple success memories on top of each other and refresh weekly with new wins because you're going to continue to have new wins as you go through this process. And then maybe adding in a power pose. So using the different excuse me anchors that we talked about. So maybe using the posture anchors as well as the physical touch anchors. So it might be bringing your shoulders back, straightening your spine, using that power pose to build on everything else that you're doing using the anchor as well. Like any new habit, this might feel a little bit mechanical at first. That's completely normal, but don't worry, like practice makes perfect. And just using this in situations to start with a kind of low stakes, and then you can work up once you're feeling more confident using it. It's then about using it in other situations as well. Okay, we are just about finished. I am going to head off very shortly. Um, what I would love you to do is think about your action steps for the week. So I'm going to give you three. Hopefully they are okay. So I want you to choose one element of the power framework for you to focus on. I want you to select and practice your confidence anchor. And finally, I want you to start your wins folder. That is the easiest one to do. Literally create a folder in your inbox, go through emails and find the emails that show that you've had wins. Remember, confidence is like a muscle. It grows stronger with regular exercise. So it's starting up with those small reps and building up gradually. Don't try and do everything at once. It is about taking those baby steps. Don't forget to join us next week for our final session in this wellbeing workplace, this wellbeing series, the Thrive at Work series. Next week, we will be looking at wellbeing workspace, where we'll look at how to explain explain and explore how to maintain these practices sustainably, because that is what we are about here. I will share a link for you to be able to book in a discovery call if you want to have a chat about how I can offer more personalized support, and hopefully building your professional confidence. And finally, just thank you so much for being here. I've really enjoyed putting this series of workshops together. I hope you're finding them valuable. And remember, you already have everything you need to be confident. We're just turning up the volume. Thank you so much, and I will speak to you very soon. Bye.